Have you ever had a moment that split your life into two distinct parts? The before and the after? For me, that moment arrived with the innocent ring of a phone. I was standing in our sun-drenched kitchen in Lincoln Park, the aroma of the coffee I'd just brewed still hanging in the air. My wife Jessica had left an hour ago, telling me she was driving up to Evanston to spend the weekend with her mom. Then the phone rang. It was her mom. "Hi, Alex," she said, her voice cheerful. "Is Jess there?" I was hoping to catch her before she left for her yoga retreat. My heart stopped. The coffee mug slipped from my hand, shattering on the tile floor, just like the world I thought I knew. Where was my wife? If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The lie was so casual, so effortless, it chilled me to the bone. That weekend, Jessica returned, full of fake stories about her mother's new garden and the terrible traffic on the Edens Expressway. I played along, a knot of ice forming in my stomach. This wasn't the first oddity. For months there had been late nights at the office, hushed phone calls she'd take in the other room, and a sudden obsession with her phone's privacy. She'd angled the screen away from me, a reflexive, almost unconscious gesture that screamed guilt. I'd ignored the signs, telling myself I was being paranoid. After all, this was Jessica, my college sweetheart, the woman I'd built a life with. But her mother's call was a bucket of ice water. The paranoia was reality. My descent into suspicion began slowly. Started noticing things I'd previously dismissed. A receipt from a restaurant on Randolph Street for a Tuesday night when she was supposedly working light a table for two. A new, expensive perfume she'd never worn before. Then came the texts. One evening, she left her phone on the nightstand while she showered. A message lit up the screen from a Mark W. It read, "Last night was incredible. Can't stop thinking about you." My breath caught in my throat. I felt a wave of nausea, so intense I had to sit on the edge of the bed. Mark W., I knew him. Mark was a smarmy sales director from her company, a guy she'd always dismissed as arrogant and shallow. The betrayal was a physical blow, knocking the air from my lungs. As I dug deeper, her cruelty grew in proportion to my suspicion. She became cold, distant, and masterfully manipulative. When I'd gently question her about her whereabouts, she'd turn it on me. "Why are you so insecure, Alex? Do you not trust me? Maybe this marriage isn't working if you're constantly checking up on me." She'd accuse me of being controlling, of stifling her. She painted me as the villain, and for a while, I almost believed her. I felt small, humiliated, and utterly alone in our beautiful Chicago brownstone that now felt like a prison. They were so confident, so brazen. One afternoon, I saw them. I was walking down Michigan Avenue, and there they were, stepping out of the London House Hotel, laughing. Mark had his arm draped casually around her shoulder. He looked so comfortable, so entitled, like they owned the world and everyone in it. They didn't see me. I ducked into a doorway, my heart hammering against my ribs, and watched them walk away, a perfect picture of betrayal against the city skyline. That night, I broke. I locked myself in the guest bathroom and just sobbed. It wasn't loud or dramatic, just a quiet, gut-wrenching surrender to the pain. The man I was, the trusting, loving husband, died on that cold tile floor. When the tears finally stopped, something else took their place. A cold, quiet resolve. The humiliation, the gaslighting, the sheer arrogance of their affair. It had hollowed me out, and in that empty space, a new plan began to form. I would not be the victim in this story. They thought they were untouchable. I was about to prove them wrong. My grief turned into fuel. The emotional storm inside me settled into a deadly calm. I became a ghost in my own home, playing the part of the slightly distant but still clueless husband. Meanwhile, every free moment was dedicated to my new project, a meticulous, systematic gathering of evidence. I installed a keylogger on our home computer. The transcripts were a goldmine of their sordid, affair-explicit chats, plans for their trysts, and, most damningly, their mockery of me. They called me the oblivious one. Jessica complained about my predictability. Mark bragged about his performance. I read every word, the pain crystallizing into pure, unadulterated focus. I hired a private investigator, a discreet professional who tracked their movements. He provided a detailed dossier, complete with photos of kissing in a secluded corner of Millennium Park. Checking into the Langham for a work conference, holding hands at a cozy table at a restaurant in the West Loop, the proof was irrefutable, a perfect timeline of their deceit. With my evidence secure, I moved to the next phase, setting the traps. I contacted a top divorce attorney in Chicago, laying out my case. Her eyes widened as I presented the file. We planned every legal move to maximize the financial and professional damage. Jessica worked in finance, where reputation is everything. Mark was gunning for a partnership at his firm. Their worlds were built on a fragile foundation of trust and perception. I also discovered through their emails that Mark had been using company funds to pay for their hotel stays and lavish dinners, fudging his expense reports. I anonymously packaged this specific evidence, hotel folios, excerpts of their chats, and prepared it for his company's board of directors. For Jessica, I found emails where she shared confidential client information with Mark, a clear violation of her employment contract and industry regulations. That package was addressed to her firm's compliance department. The stage was set. The final act was to be our 10th anniversary party. Jessica, in her infinite arrogance, had insisted we host a large celebration at a trendy event space in River North. It was perfect. All our friends, family, and many of her senior colleagues would be there. She saw it as a celebration of her perfect life. I saw it as her public execution. That night, she was radiant in a silver dress, mingling, accepting congratulations. I watched her, feeling nothing but a vast, cold emptiness. Midway through the evening, I took the microphone for what everyone assumed would be a heartfelt toast. I started with a smile. 10 years, I began, my voice steady. 10 years with the love of my life, Jessica. I looked right at her. Her smile was bright, confident. But a marriage isn't just about the good times, I continued, the room growing quiet. It's also about honesty. And I've learned so much about honesty from Jessica, from her associate Mark. A gasp rippled through the crowd. I saw Mark freeze near the bar. Jessica's face went pale. Then, the large screen behind me, which had been cycling through photos of our happy life, flickered. A new image appeared, Jessica and Mark, kissing passionately outside the London House Hotel. Another photo, them holding hands at dinner. Then came the text messages, blown up for all to see. Can't wait to get away from the oblivious one. The room was dead silent, save for a few horrified gasps. I looked at Jessica, her mask of perfection shattered, revealing the panicked, ugly truth beneath. Her colleagues stared, her friends looked away in shame. I didn't raise my voice. I simply let the evidence speak for me. I ended my toast by announcing I had filed for divorce that morning on grounds of adultery, and that I was sure their respective employers would be very interested in some of the other documentation I had found. Then I set the microphone down. I walked out of that room without looking back, leaving the smoldering ruins of her life behind me. I never saw her again, but I heard the fallout was swift and brutal. Both were fired. Reputations were destroyed. I now live in a quiet apartment overlooking Lake Michigan. The city lights glitter on the water, but they offer no warmth. The fire of my revenge is burned out, leaving behind only ashes and a profound, chilling silence. I won. I destroyed them as they had destroyed me. What? In the quiet of the night, when the only sound is the distant hum of the city, I sometimes wonder what was left of the man who lived in the before. I stare out at the dark water and feel nothing at all. In the end, it was just me, alone with the victory. The end.